Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Welcome to another spooky episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your amusement. Alrighty, guys. So, we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies ever. I could watch this movie yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Like, I don't care. I'm still to this day, I'll be bored, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this movie in. And I do. We are talking about the one and only Little Shop of Horrors, you guys. Like, this movie is so good. It's such a fun movie. Like, I love musicals, and I think with all the musicals I ever watched and performed in, I think like Little Shop I think it's like the most fun. I always have a good time watching it or performing or singing a song from it. So, if you will, I would just love to go down a little memory lane with you all. So, in high school, like, I couldn't wait to get to high school because I was like, oh, I'm enjoying the musical. I'm going to be so famous. There's going to be a producer in the audience. They're going to sign me. And then freshman year, there was no theater program. I was pissed. But then thank you to the one and only Miss Nilda Pauly. She revived the theater program at our school. And what was it, sophomore year, we did Bye Bye Birdie. The next year, we did West Side Story. And then my last year, we did The Wiz, right? But we did two plays my senior year. We did a winter play and a spring play. Now, the spring play was a 50s review, right? So actually, I still have a little program here from high school, you guys. So we did a 50s review, and we didn't do the whole play, but we did certain numbers from Bye Bye Birdie, Grease, Little Shop of Horrors, and West Side Story, right? Like the really big main numbers. Now, I was hating on the Little Shop of Horrors because I was like, oh my God, I get to finally do it. Like, I've been singing this musical since I was like 4, right? Watching it on TV. But what had happened was we were in partnerships with two other schools. There was a Gordon Tech in Chicago, which still exists. But at the time, it was an all-boys school. Now I think it's co-ed. And there used to be an all-girls school called Madonna. And Madonna doesn't exist anymore. They tore that building down. Now it's a whole bunch of condos. It used to be like, what was it, Belmont and Pulaski, if you're familiar with the area. So they actually, those two schools used to team up together. And they actually did the full production of Little Shop. And I went to their school and watched it. And I was just so jealous. I was in the audience singing. I know the people around me were like, will you shut up? You're not in the play. And so when our teacher like brought them in to be part of the 50s review, they did the Little Shop section. And I was like, can I be Rondé or Chiffon? Like, you just put me in a dress. Like, I was singing the shit out of those songs. But they already had their 3 girls lined up, so whatever. So yes, I got to watch another school in the back perform Little Shop. I do still have my t-shirt. Oh my gosh. Our little, probably can't even see it. But it's our 50s review t-shirt. I think I can still fit this. Alright, we're not going to try that today. What else I got, you guys? So, I got my Little Shop of Horrors DVD. Now, to be fair, they did come out with a director's cut, which we will talk about at the end of this review. But I got my Little Shop DVD, and of course my Little Shop soundtrack, because how can you love a movie and not have the damn soundtrack to bump in your car on your way to the mall? My friend Yvette one year got me some Funko Pops. We have Seymour Krelborn. We got Audrey. And I also have 2 versions of Audrey too. So we got the regular Audrey 2, which she's like the full-grown version. And then there's a special edition, or a limited edition, where the only difference is there's a whole bunch of like speckled blood on his face. But I mean, I don't know why the original just doesn't have the blood. I mean, it just makes it look cooler. All right, so that was my little trip down memory lane. Thank you guys for joining me. All right, so the movie. So Little Shop of Horrors from 1986 was based off of a 1982 Broadway musical, and the Broadway musical was based off of a 1960s movie called Little Shop of Horrors. And I remember one day I was flipping to the channel and Little Shop of Horrors was on. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch this. And so I did. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because it was this weird black and white movie that just looks so super old. And I was like, wait, hold on now. And so I had to look it up and I'm like, okay, I didn't realize there was an original, right? So yeah, back in 1960, there was a Roger Corman movie, is that his name? Where he directed this movie, Little Shop of Horrors, and same thing, you know, guy in a plant shop, plant comes alive, it's eating people, shibby-dooby-doo, right? I do have to give them props for the plant. Like, you know, me watching the 1986 movie first and then watching the 1960 movie, you're like, what the fuck is this? What is this plant doing? Anyway, it also stars a young Jack Nicholson, you guys. I don't know if this is like his first movie role or what have you, but it's one of his earlier ones. All right, so this new movie is directed by Frank Oz. If you're not familiar with Frank Oz, he is really known for his role as a Muppet character, puppeteer, and voice. Like he's done Fozzie, Miss Piggy. He was the voice of Yoda in Star Wars. Like he did a bunch of stuff. And so he had just did the Muppets Take Manhattan, and then he was I think offered. I don't know the whole history, but right after he did that movie, he came and he directed Little Shop. So the movie opens with a Greek chorus. These three women, played by Tashina Arnold, Tisha Campbell, and Michelle Weeks, right? They come out and they sing our opening title, Little Shop of Horrors. I vividly remember, like, there was times we would go visit my aunt in Oklahoma, and this is the first time I ever saw like a video store and a shopping center, like where you buy your groceries, and all of a sudden to the side it was a video store inside. What? But anyway, she'd be like, "You want to rent a movie?" And boy, when I tell you, I didn't know what to rent. I'm like, oh my god, like, oh, I get to rent a movie, and you see Little Shop like in front of you, and you're like, I'll just get this. And then I remember going into a room and I closed the door and everyone just heard me. I was like, I don't know why I thought they couldn't hear me if I closed that door. And I was just singing and singing. Like this is another one of those movies I do credit, like try to control my voice, because the three harmonies that are being done in this movie by these three girls, I would sing the song, hearing one person sticking with that note, rewind the tape, and then I would start singing like Tisha Campbell's part, and she was singing really high. And then you have Michelle Weeks, who does the thing at the end. Come on, come on, come on. And, and I was singing all three parts. And I was like, if there's anything I'm going to do when I grow up and be an adult, I'm going to sing the fuck out of this musical somewhere, somehow. So then we see our star of the movie, Seymour Krelborn, and he is played by Rick Moranis. And he's this orphan kid who was taken in by this guy named Mr. Mushnick, and he was like, well, you can sleep in my basement of my shop and you can also work here. There you go. Bam. Right? So Mr. Mushnick is the owner of the plant shop, and our third character is a character named Audrey, who literally lives across the street from the job, but she is constantly late. Like, there are days she shows up and like the store is closing and she goes, am I late? Now, Audrey is played by this actress named Ellen Greene, right? So again, this movie is based off the Broadway play. Ellen Greene is the only person from that cast that's in this movie, which was so weird, but okay. But I'm glad they did, because I didn't learn this till later in life, but apparently they wanted Cyndi Lauper as Audrey. And the only reason she didn't do it is because her schedule was like weird. Can you imagine Cyndi Lauper? I can probably hear her voice, but I don't know. Like, Ellen Gray just brings this certain magic to this character. Like, I don't know. That would have been super weird, right? So the plant shop is not doing good. Like, there's no customers. No one's coming in buying flowers. So Bushnick's like, you know what? That's it. Just don't come in tomorrow. Like, that's it. Like, we're done. So Seymour has been working with some plant in this basement, right? And he brings it up. It is some kind of fly trap, but he can't really like categorize it in his books. So Seymour puts this plant in the window to see if he can attract any customers. And sure enough, one comes in. He's played by Christopher Guest. And he's like, oh my God, that strange plant in the window. Where did you get it? And then Seymour's like, well, remember that eclipse of the sun about a week ago? And then we get our next musical number, which is Dadu. Such a fun song.
It got very dark, and there was this strange humming sound, like something from another world. And when the light came back, this weird plant was just sitting there. Just, stuck in, among the zinnias.
So, apparently there was a solar eclipse when he was shopping for plants, and this thing just kind of beamed out of the sky, and he turned around and just, there it was, all of a sudden. So he buys it for $1.25. And then all of a sudden, more people start coming into the shop. And then next thing you know, like, they made a lot of money that day. So then after they close up, the plant just starts like wilting away. And Bushnick is like, you gotta get your ass in that basement, take care of that plant. So yeah, Seymour goes down back into the basement and he's singing a song. To stop the bleeding. He starts hearing this noise. He turns around, it's the plant. The plant's making the same sucking noise as him. So he realizes that, wait, are you wanting my blood? And sure enough, that's exactly what that plant wants. Y'all, another reason I love this movie, still to this day, like the way the Jim Henson Company like made these plants do the things they do. I mean, look at this thing. Like I used to be fascinated just looking at this plant. Like, how do they do that? Like, it's just all wires that are just you can't see them. It's so crazy how they do that. So the plant, which is now called Audrey 2 after the original co-worker Audrey, has grown like significantly in size. Now, fun fact, with this plant being called Audrey 2, in the original movie, the plant was called Audrey Jr., right? So just hold that because we're going to bring that up again later in this review. All right, so anyway, so now the plant is big and everyone's like, ooh and ah. And so Seymour goes to a radio station and the DJ there is named Wink Wilkinson, played by John Candy. So he has a small little cameo in this movie. And he asked Seymour, where'd you get the plant? So, of course, he's about to sing the damn Dadu song again. But did you guys know, too, John Candy was originally asked to be Bushnick in this movie. Now, can you see that? I don't know if I can see. I feel like he would just be more, like, too funny or something. And Bushnick has to be, like, a serious, like, asshole role. So I don't know if I can see John Candy playing that part. But, yeah, I don't remember why he didn't. But I guess, I don't know, they really wanted him in the movie or something. So he just did this, like, really quick part. Maybe his schedule was conflicting, too. I don't know. But, yes. So, John Candy is in this movie. Audrey has this asshole boyfriend named Oren Scrivello. Yes. That's his name. We see him a little later, but every time she shows up to the shop, she either has like a black eye or like one day she walks in and she has this like homemade cast where she has like this satin scarf or something that she made so she can hold her arm up. It's so sad. But, you know, the three Greek chorus girls, they're talking to her and they're like, well, why don't you just dump that guy and go out with the damn nerd? And so when she goes home, you know, she thinks about it and she actually really does have feelings for Seymour. And then she sings the song Somewhere That's Green.
There's plastic on our furniture to keep it neat and clean. In the pine so scented air, somewhere that's green.
Okay, do y'all remember when Family Guy made fun of this song?
Look like Donnery. There's plastic on the furniture to keep it neat and clean. In the pine so scented air, somewhere that's green.
So then we get a snippet of this song called Some Fun Now, where we just get like a montage of Seymour feeding the plant his fingers. Like throughout the movie, like you just start seeing like more and more fingers bandaged up. No one ever says anything like, what are you doing with your fingers? Like, what's wrong? Which is really funny. But it might start off with like one that has a wrapping around it, and then you might see like 3 fingers until like later, like all the fingers. It's just him just pricking himself and feeding that plant. So yeah, anyway, we have like a little number with the girls on top of a roof singing There's Some Fun Now. So that's a cute number. So then we get a scene where we actually finally get to meet Oren Scrivello. Oh wow, he's have trouble with his last name. And he is a crazy ass dentist. Played by Steve Martin with black hair. You ever seen Steve Martin with any other hair than gray? So he sings his song. It's called Dentist. Don't be a dentist. Why are we singing about the Marquis de Sade like when I was, 7 or something? I didn't know what the hell the Marquis de Sade was. I don't know if I'm saying the word right. But then when I found out what it was, I was like, oh my God, is that word that's that name that's in the Little Shop of Horrors song? But anyway, apparently one of the girls in the dentist scene, the first one, is Jim Henson's daughter. So I don't know if it's the girl who comes out with like the contraption on her face, or is it the little girl who like Oren like screws the head of the doll off. I don't know which one she is, but one of those is Jim Henson's daughter. All right, y'all. So now we get to the best part of the movie. Well, one of them. We finally get to see Audrey 2 speak and move. So Seymour's going out. The plant falls over. He's like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden he hears, feed me. Again, the way this plant is moving and talking, like it's still fascinating to see after all these years. So then we get the song Feed Me, which, yeah, I had that song on rewind over and over again with the VHS. Okay, so one thing I didn't know, which, okay, I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't know how many puppeteers are behind the scenes that are making the vines move, but especially the mouth, you guys. So every time you see the plant singing a song, like any musical number, they couldn't get the mouth to move quick enough to match the words. So they had to not speed down. They had to lower the speed of the camera. And even when you see like Rick Moranis kind of move around or walk somewhere or do something, he has to do it in slow motion. So everything is slow, and he had to time movements and stuff out right. So when the song was finished and they sped the speed back up, it all flows. So when you see Rick Moranis moving around or whatever, or singing along with the plant, he has to make sure, even though he's doing it slow, by the time he gets to another part, he's doing whatever he needs to. So that when the film is sped up again to what we see in here, it flows. That's craziness. And I guess there was like, with everything mechanical, there were issues with the plan. They had to reset things, and certain scenes took longer and what have you. But I mean, the end result is like beautiful. But yeah, that's what they did with these musical numbers with the plan. So, the plant, Audrey 2, is voiced by Levi Stubbs, who is the lead singer of the group The Four Tops. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, I just did a super, this is my favorite movie fail. I missed the song. I didn't even talk about Skid Row downtown. No, what am I doing? There's a song earlier in the movie where the three girls are shooing away from outside the shop, and then we get okay, technically this is the second musical number where they sing Skid Row. And the only reason I just remember that, oh Lord Jesus Christ, is because Levi Stubbs is actually in that musical number, right? So there's a guy that kind of later in the song, someone goes, "Down on Skid." That's Levi Stubbs. So if you want to see what he looked like then, that's him.
Skid Row, down on Skid Row,
Down on Skid Row.
down on Skid.
Down on Skid Row. Down on Skid Row.
And I can't believe I literally did not mention that song. Tell you what this movie's about. Also, too, I don't know if it was ever true or not, but I think I heard that Eddie Murphy was asked to do the voice of the plant. I think there was a whole bunch of people I think supposed to be lined up for that part, but it ultimately went to Levi Stubbs, who just does a great job. So just throwing that out there. So the plant convinces Seymour that, you know what, I need blood and you need to kill someone for me. Seymour's like, I can't do that. No one deserves to die. And the plant's like, yes, there is. So they agree it's going to be Oren. So Seymour goes to the dentist's office and we get this scene with Bill Murray, who's this patient trying to get a root canal. But instead of being terrified like all the other patients, he's really like enjoying himself in his office, which the director was like, I guess there was no script for this. So the Bill Murray character here is based off of, I think, Jack Nicholson's part in the original, except that, you know, Bill Murray's being Bill Murray, and the director was like, you guys go in and do whatever, and they just filmed it. So there was actually no script for that scene. Another fun fact. So they were just like, you know, your chemistry is going to do what's going to do. Just do what you're going to do. So anyway, Seymour goes in and Oren is about to drill his mouth with this rusty ass drill. But he wants to put some laughing gas on. Not for the patient, but for him. So Seymour pulls out a gun. And then Oren's like, well, damn, what the hell I do to you? I ain't even touch your mouth yet. Seymour's like, no, it's what you did to her. And Oren realizes what he's done, and then from the effect of the gas, like so much, he dies. So he pretty much killed himself. Seymour didn't have to pull the trigger. Now, how Seymour got this body outside the dentist's office back to the shop, I don't know. We don't need to know. Let's move on. That night, Seymour is chopping up the body with an axe in the back of the shop. And for some weird reason, Mr. Mushnick comes to the shop for something. I don't know. But he sees Seymour chopping up the body and takes off. Right? So, Seymour takes the body parts, feeds it to the plant. And then Audrey 2, got bigger. So look, you guys. The police show up because the next day, like, I guess the nurse came in and saw the place in shambles, and Oren's missing. So the police are questioning Audrey, and Seymour's like, you don't need him. And they go into an alley, and pretty much they see that they actually like each other. So we get our next musical number, Suddenly Seymour. Afterwards, Seymour is feeling like super awesome, so he goes down to his bed and lays down. And then here comes Mr. Mushnick. And he confronts Seymour and he's like, I saw what you did. There's blood splattered all over the place upstairs. Like, I saw you with an axe. And I'm gonna need you to skip town. But before you do, let me know how to take care of this plant, because I'm going to benefit from the profits and you're going to disappear for like 30 years. Now they're doing this standing right in front of the plant. So now Seymour's like, what the fuck, right? But the plant lowers his head, opens his mouth, and Seymour just starts slowly backing. Well, he's walking forward, but Mushnick is backing up. And as they kind of somewhat talk about what to do, and Mushnick's like, he realizes that there's something behind him. He turns around, and the plant pretty much closes on his body. Eats him up, swallows him whole, and goodbye, Mr. Mushnick. Which no one ever like comes around later in this movie to question where Mushnick went. I like how people are like, where's that Oren skit? Why can't I ever think this man's last name? Well, anyway, the dentist, right? I like how they're like worried about where this man is, but no one ever says like, have you seen Mr. Mushnick today? So, yeah, Mushnick is dead, and we get the song Supper Time. So Seymour is becoming more and more popular, and we get a musical number called The Meek Shall Inherit. And it's like a little medley cut up of all the newspapers and TV producers trying to get Seymour to sign and do these things. Now, there is a deleted scene from this song. It was a longer version actually filmed, and then it got chopped down because I think the test audiences were like, what the fuck is happening? And I agree. Because have you guys ever seen any of this footage? Like, what is this? So there really is a song, a long version of the song, which I only heard because I went to Madonna and Gordon Tech's production of the stage play back in high school. And I remember sitting there and this song came up, and then I had to remind myself the movie is based off the Broadway play, and not everything's going to be the same. So I was like, wow, I've never heard the full version of that song before. Well, like later until I got like the soundtracks and stuff. But yes, there was this weird thing happening and it got deleted. So here's a part of it right here.
I signed these contracts. That means I'm willing to keep on doing bloody awful evil things. No, there's only so far you can bend. No, this nightmare must come to an end. She might not like me. She might not want me. Without my plant, she might not love me anymore.
Seymour sees how big the plant grew after eating Mushnick, and he just can't take it. And he runs away out of the shop. Audrey follows him, and she tells him, like, you're crazy. But, like, you should be happy. They're going to come back tomorrow with a big check. And Seymour's like, oh, you know what? Let's take that check. Let's go get married. Let's just get out of here. We'll leave the plant. We'll just let it die. And so he goes, well, let's get married right now. And Audrey's like, okay. So he goes to pack his stuff. Audrey goes home to pack her stuff. And apparently she already had a wedding dress, like probably in her closet somewhere, because she already has a wedding dress on. And Seymour tries to sneak out of the shop, which even as a little kid, I mean, obviously if he didn't do this, we wouldn't have got the resolution that we needed. But I always thought it was funny that I knew there was a back way out of this shop because he used it before when he went to talk to Audrey when the cops were interviewing her. So if you're trying to sneak out of a damn plant shop and don't want the plant to know you're leaving, let's walk out the front door. So anyway, that's what he does. And the plant's like, feed me. He's like, I ain't feeding you. He's like, I'm gonna go to the the butcher shop and just get you some round. And the plant's like, okay. So while Seymour leaves, Audrey too decides to make a phone call to Audrey. And how he got the phone number, I do not know. Because who calls Audrey? Like, where do you get the phone number for her? It's not like he called like the operator and said, like, operator, can you please connect me? I would have totally got that joke. But the fact that he like uses the rotary phone and dials her number still baffles me. But it's still a beautiful performance by the puppeteers behind the scenes. Like when you guys see the shit this plant, like the vines are doing, it's craziness. And one thing too that I always use a question, because you can see it in this scene when he tries to get closer to the payphone, is how the hell is his pot keep getting so big? This thing was in a can. Okay. And then the first time it grew from eating Seymour's blood, he obviously got repotted. But now you mean to tell me this thing is this big, huge ass plant, or pot. But I get it. It's from outer space. It's probably doing it on its own. And, you know, you're supposed to watch the movie and not think about things like that. But I just want to bring it to your attention that this big ass fucking pot is. I don't know how people are like thinking this thing is just being like repotted and resoiled. Like with 3 people working in this shop. Okay. Audrey comes over to the shop and the plant's like, yep, believe it, it talks. And so he's singing his song and he's like, I need some water. So she gets the water bottle, she turns around or is it a water can? It's a water can. And so anyway, she turns around and yeah, Audrey 2 eats Audrey 1. But not completely. Like he snaps and she's in his mouth. And Seymour came back just in time to see this, and then he frees Audrey from the plant's mouth, and they go running into the back alley. So the two are in the back alley talking, and then they're about to go into another rendition of Suddenly Seymour. When all of a sudden this guy shows up. It's played by Jim Belushi. And he's like, hey y'all, look, I have an idea. We can take snippets from the plant, we can sell it, and then every home in America, well, the nation, and after the nation, worldwide, can have their own Audrey 2 in the house. And so Audrey and Seymour are like, oh my God, like this plant is seeking world domination. We gotta stop it. So Seymour's like, well, I'll do it. I got us into this. I think we should blame that damn Chinese man that sold him the plant. How you gonna sell a plant that you even know you had in your inventory, sir? Okay, anyway. Let's leave the Chinese man alone. So Seymour goes back in and we get the next big musical production. Mean Green Mother.
I'm just a mean green mother from outer space, and I'm bad. Outer space. Mother from outer space, and it looks like you've been had.
So Audrey 2 destroys the whole building.
Bye-bye, Seymour.
But out of the wreckage comes Seymour, and he grabs an electrical cord, sticks it onto the plant, and the plant blows up. I like how this movie is just all family friendly and everything, and then when you get to the end, Audrey 2 says shit like 2 or 3 times in the movie. And tough titty. Like also he just has a potty mouth at the end of the movie. Audrey and Seymour have a happy ending. We see that they got married and they live in the little house somewhere that's green. We see the Greek chorus girls walk by, and we see a little sprout of a new Audrey in their garden. and then the movie's over. So look, you guys, that is the theatrical ending to this movie. Now, there was another version of the ending that test audiences hated. And the original movie cost like millions of dollars to make. And then they had to go back and do reshoots. So a whole bunch of stuff was different. So, okay, I'm so sorry, spirits. All right, we're going to put this guy over here facing the wall. And we're never going to talk about this ever again. So anyway, what was I saying? So the movie had to be redone because in the original, Audrey was freed from Audrey 2's mouth, but she had so much damage done. She was dying. And so she was like, just feed me to the plant, Seymour. Just finish me in the plant. And I guess Seymour was like, okay. So Seymour feeds Audrey to the plant because it was her dying wish. And now, since he had did it, he was going to jump off the roof and kill himself. So he's on the roof. He's about to jump. But then the character that Jim Belushi plays in the theatrical version shows up. Now, he was actually originally played by an actor named Paul Dooley, if I'm not mistaken. And he did the whole like, hey, before you do that, sign this contract. I want to make like little plants that we can sell. And then Seymour's like, what? Little plants? Oh, no. And then that's why Seymour doesn't kill himself. He comes down, confronts the plant, and then the musical number Mean Green Mother starts, right? But when the reshooting was going on, Paul Dooley was not available. So they had to hurry up and replace him. And that's why we see Jim Belushi in this role, right? So that Mean Green Mother is playing. And then Audrey 2 does destroy the shop, but it kills Seymour. No. Audrey 2 destroys the shop. I think pulls Seymour out of the wreckage. And then the plant eats Seymour. Yes. So the plant eats Seymour. And then somehow parts of the plant gets repotted and sold. So there are new Audrey 2s flying off the shelf. And people are buying the plant. But then, this happens. So in the end, the plant does end up taking over the world. Like we see it destroying buildings, it's eating trains, it's like walking along on the street. So now the plant can walk. What else is it doing? It's on the Statue of Liberty. I do like how at the end, like one kind of burst through the movie screen. That's kind of cool. But now here's my thing though. I agree. I agree that there really should be a happy ending to the movie. The plant should not take over. And even if it did take over, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So all these people take this plant, right? They go home. Now you still have to feed the plant. And I don't know how many people would be in the same situation like Seymour, where they go, oh, I pricked myself. Oh, you want my blood? Because that's how Seymour found out he needs blood anyway. So if people are not doing that, is the plant talking as a sprout, like a little thing? Because the plant didn't talk until it got bigger. Now, unless the plant is eating like the family cat or the family dog, or they could have had a scene, unless the kid deserves it. But, we don't want kids to die in movies. But, like, if there was a scene where maybe, like, a mother, like, laid her child in the crib, and I don't know, there's a plant. I don't know why the plant would be there. See? It's so stupid. But anyway, the baby got accidentally eaten by the plant, and then the plant grew up and started talking. I don't know. Like, how does the plant take over the world? It has to grow. It has to eat to get as big as they are, destroying the city. So I can't imagine that this thing is just eating things to the point where people are running away because you didn't know the plant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. I don't like the ending. I do not like the ending. It makes me think too much. Where in the original movie, the movie's over, and I turn it off and I go live my life, right? Oh my gosh. So yes, that happened. Also, Tisha Campbell was not able to come back when they filmed the ending, when you see the girls walk by. So Tashina Arnold, Michelle Weeks, they were back, but Tisha Campbell wasn't there, so they had to get another light-skinned girl to walk by. Other than that, I think that's all of the knowledge I have of this movie. It's still a good movie. I love the fact that the whole, like, everything you see as far as like Skid Row and like the L train and the buildings and whatever else, that was all done in a soundstage. Because, me as a kid, I used to be like, is that Chicago? Where in Chicago was this film? Like, I don't know. I don't know why I thought Chicago. Maybe because I saw the L before I knew that other cities had L trains. But anyway, yeah, all that was actually built. It looks really, really good. And yeah, and the movie is still really, really good. So, Little Shop of Horrors, good stuff. Now, unfortunately, in 1991, Fox Kids, in Chicago it was on Fox Kids, but there was this cartoon made called Little Shop. It wasn't called Little Shop of Horrors, probably because kids are watching, so they probably didn't want the word horror in it. And even me, if I say horror really fast, it just sounds like I'm saying horror. Little Shop of Horrors. So yeah, good idea. Just called it Little Shop. But they made a cartoon version of this movie, or just the thing, just not even just the movie, just the whole concept. But it was so dumb. I remember trying to give this cartoon so much love because I was like, well, if it's part of the Little Shop universe, I'll watch it and support it. Oh my God, you guys. And it was so bad. So Seymour was turned into like, I don't know, 12, 13-year-old boy. Audrey, too, is in it. And he's always like singing stupid songs and rapping stupid raps. But he wasn't evil. He was good. He was trying to teach us lessons. And his name is not Audrey 2. His name is Junior, right? So like I was saying before, in the original movie, the plant was called Audrey Jr. So I wonder if they just took the Junior part and whatever, right? It was dumb. It only lasted one season, and that's what it gets. Because there should have really been no reason to make this thing into a cartoon. Like, the animation was weird. The colors were just off. Like, It's like a really cheap thing that was thrown together. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Little Shop. What is going on with my lighting? Okay, so side note, you're probably wondering, like, how come you're not doing this in the dark like you usually do? Well, my schedule has changed, and I get off of work now at 11 p.m. By the time I get home, it's 11:30 or 12 o'clock, depending if I have to make a stop or not, to some place that's still open. And sometimes I just don't feel like filming at night. So I'm filming this during the day. Also, so you can just kind of see what's happening behind me until the demon fell off my shelf. But I don't know if you guys are really getting to see, like, I keep buying things to like display. I don't know if you're really getting the effect. And this is the 3rd year I'm doing this marathon, and my lighting is still jacked up. So one day I might get it right. Or I might just say fuck it and get a green screen. Just put the damn green screen behind me. Put something on it. But I'm gonna keep trying. It's like I'm gonna get the shit figured out 1 year. Trust me. But anyway, I'm doing it in the daytime just because I need to do this video, and I had time to do it right now, right? And now the sun is kind of coming in, and so I'm gonna end this video before my lighting is crazy, right? So if I had to rate Little Shop of Horrors, I'm not gonna give it a 5, even though deep down in my heart I would. But it will get a 4. It'll get a 4. And like I said, if it's on TV, I will stop everything I'm doing and watch it and sing along. I will sing to the top of my lungs all these songs. So all right, so cheers. I drank the shot wrong. Okay, so all right, yes. So let me know in the comments below, what were your favorite parts of Little Shop? Did you love the movie? What were your favorite songs? Did you ever see the play? Were you in a play in high school? I'm still mad I was not part of that production. We even had a plant. I don't remember how the plant was made. I remember it was made with like hula hoops and sheets and stuff. It looked really good. And the guy voicing it was in there, and he had to do the whole like thing with the mouth. I mean, he was sweaty as fuck when he came out at the end of the play. But oh, I want to sing so bad. But anyway, yes, that was my review of Little Shop of Horrors. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next spooky episode. Right? Y'all like my bloody candle? All right. So until then, TTFN.